I want to talk about the Brexit bill that was published last week, but before I do that I want to just run through a very quick primer on the structure of government in Westminster, because it's actually fundamental to what's going on with the Brexit bill. Parliament is not the government. Parliament is Parliament. Every MP is a member of Parliament, including the Prime Minister. You can't be Prime Minister unless you are also a member of Parliament. The government is the Prime Minister and her ministers, some of whom are in the cabinet, some of whom are in charge of government departments, all of whom at the moment and usually are from a single political party, which is what made the coalition government a coalition, was it had ministers from both the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats. And the Prime Minister is the chief of the ministers in the government, which is the people who have responsibility for actually running the place. Parliament can debate, propose amendments to, vote on amendments to, and vote for or vote down legislation that is proposed by the government. Fundamentally, a British government is a leader who can convince more than half of the 650 MPs in the House of Commons to walk through a door. That being how voting is done in Westminster. If you can get half of Parliament to walk through the yay door for your legislation, you can be Prime Minister. You might not be, but you can be. So, the Brexit right to trigger Article 50 saga goes like this. The government publicly asserted that it had the right to unilaterally trigger Article 50, which is the start of the process to leave the EU. That's the start of the 2-year timetable you hear talked about. Some people promptly then sued the government, saying, you can't do that, you don't have the right to do that, you're going to be unilaterally robbing us of rights, you can't do that. And all those various suits were bundled together into one big case, which was judged by, I think it was the High Court, but don't quote me on that, who went through the whole thing and went, actually, we think they're right, we think the government doesn't have the right to do this, we think Parliament has the right to do this. The difference there is, Theresa May cannot just sign a piece of paper as the Prime Minister to trigger Article 50. The 650 MPs of the House of Commons have to vote on it. There has to be an actual law which they have to vote on because it's a parliamentary power, not a governmental power. Okay, with me so far. The government appealed, the Supreme Court heard the appeal and handed down a judgment to no one's great surprise saying, yep, that power lies with Parliament. Which brings us to this week's Brexit bill, which is 2 clauses. It's an incredibly short bill. I wish I'd copied it down so I could read it to you. The bill says, we, Parliament, are giving the Prime Minister the power to trigger Article 50, regardless of what it says in the laws that established the EU treaties. That's what the bill says. There's nothing for oversight. There is nothing about this being time limited. There is nothing about Parliament getting to review any deals. There is nothing. It is literally, we give the Prime Minister the power to trigger Article 50, and we do so regardless of the rules in other treaties, other laws. Of itself, it doesn't trigger Article 50. What it does is guarantee that Article 50 will be triggered by the government at its whim. And it's a permanent power, unless they repeal it. So, if for some reason Theresa May decides she's not going to trigger Brexit 10 years down the line, if they haven't repealed that law, someone else can wake up in the morning and go, you know what, I'm fed up of being in Europe. However, she is going to trigger. So, when Labour is 3-line whipping, that's insisting as hard as they can insist, that all Labour MPs must vote for this bill to hand this parliamentary power to the Prime Minister without chance of further oversight, they are guaranteeing that Brexit will be triggered. They are not triggering it themselves. They're just making sure it's going to happen because of the political realities of the day.